Today's recap will be on the movie, Old People. Mr. Reinke sits in his apartment alone looking like someone told him some bad news. Later that evening, a carer from an agency makes her way into the old people's residences, which is for those who don't have any family. She gets to Mr. Reinke's place and finds that the door is already open. The carer makes her way inside and calls to the old guy, but she gets no response. When she checks the rooms, she sees no sign of him. Things start to get stranger when the lady reaches the kitchen to find the food in the fridge rotten because it wasn't closed properly. She hears some unsettling groaning as Mr. Reinke enters asking for help. The carer gets shaken from his appearance. She turns on the light to get a better look at him, but he suddenly hits her with his oxygen tank and continues his assault till the deed is done. The deranged old man sobs as he makes his way to his window and proceeds to moan like an animal as distant screaming and crashing can be heard throughout the city. Elsewhere, Ella and her son Noah sing along to their family's favorite song as they cruise to the countryside to her younger sister Sana's wedding. He tries to get his older sister Laura to join, but she refuses as she feels too old to be singing. The girl points out that their dad also used to enjoy the song till their mom divorced him. Talk about no filter, the awkwardness is short-lived as a video call from her sister comes through. Ella does the responsible thing and hands it over to Noah to talk. They are all excited to reunite and enjoy this wedding. The kids ask about their grandpa Yak. However, the connection is suddenly lost, but they are supposed to meet him. Meanwhile at the village, the kid's father Lucas says his goodbyes to his lover Kim as she leaves for work at the local retirement home. During that interval, Ella and the kids arrive at their family home. Malik and Sana gives them a warm welcome and show them to their rooms. The other guests are staying at a hotel in the village. Noah takes a page from his older sister's book and takes an ignorant jab at his mother when she reminds him of the swing he used to play on when he was little. The boy alerts her that his dad made that. Laura watches on like the Sith Lords as her apprentice executed that roast perfectly. They make their way inside where Noah reveals that his granddad told him that there is a secret underground tunnel that connects the main house to the barn. Ella asks about their dad and Sana reveals that he's at a retirement home, which surprises her as she was not aware. They haven't spoken at all since he had some harsh words with her about the divorce with Lucas. Noah asks if he's coming to the reception later. His mother assures him, which sends the boy away. Sana hopes he's in good enough shape to come because his health has declined rapidly. Meanwhile, Laura skips going to pick her granddad up so that she can go on a boat ride with her sneaky link. Ella and the others meet Lucas on the way to the care home. The young lad excitedly jumps out to greet his dad while Ella uncomfortably interacts with her ex-husband. They set back off after that brief exchange. During their commute, Noah notices a whole bunch of old people lingering around staring at them as they pass. The trio eventually reach the retirement home. Upon entering, they find food all over the floor and no one around. They make their way deep inside and find the old people loitering around. Ella politely corrects one man who mistakes her for someone else. The sounds of a woman sobbing draws their attention only to find her slumped on the shower floor. One of the staff finally appears to aid her. Sana asks of Kim, so the care calls her. Kim steps out of the office happy to see them as she plays with Noah and greets her rival. Ella expresses her worry about the old folks as she gets a creepy vibe, but Kim explains that they are understaffed, so there is not much they can do. Some are even restrained to stop them from running away. As the rivals discuss, Noah wanders off alone when he gets lured by an ominous-looking man. The old people position themselves around the place like they're ready to pounce as the boy navigates through to his granddad's room. He tries to interact with him and invite him to the wedding, but the kid gets no response. Noah looks around the room and notices that the old people are acting strange. The adults join him just in time. Ella greets her dad and apologizes for not coming earlier. Eerie whispering can be heard as she notices the others are staring at her. Kim explains that they don't get many visitors. Meanwhile, the lovebirds return back to land and Alex sends her to the woods where he shows her an ancient monument dedicated to ghosts of their ancestors. It is supposed to protect families so they can stay together and honor their elders, because whomsoever hurts the old is cursed. He points out her mom and dad's love engraving on the ancient stone. Later on, everyone gathers to witness the wedding. The old people sadly watch on from their homes as the young people appear jolly and speed off to the house for the after party. That evening, the music play while the drinks flow as the fun continues. Noah plays cards with his zoned-out grandfather. His mother comes to check on them, but she worriedly looks at her dad. Not long after, Lucas and Ella have a discussion about how she left him to go to the city to start her own law firm instead of staying and enjoying the country life. He asks her if she ever regrets it, but they are interrupted by their kids before she can answer. They act like a complete family as they dance and sing together to their song. Lucas stops when he notices Kim watching on looking very jealous. He makes his way over and kisses her, which causes Ella to look away with slight sadness. Meanwhile, in the nearby retirement home, a large number of the old folks gather in the dark room watching and listening to the wedding activities from an open window. One of the staff on night duty walks in on them in that state. He's fed up, so he put on the light and teases the old people for wanting to go before shutting the window. Simultaneously, His colleague hears a woman shrieking, so she goes to the power room to investigate. She's horrified to see one of the residents chewing on one of the power cables. The carer is unable to stop her in time as she gets electrocuted. This causes the whole building to lose power. Back up top, the male carer orders everyone to go to bed, but they don't move. He gets handsy with one of the residences when she requests that they stay a bit longer. The old lady retaliates by biting, which causes him to push her into a glass table. The senior citizen stands up and begins to growl while walking towards the carer. He threatens the old-timer with a needle, but Mr. Boomer grabs his hand as the others begin to stab him with the shards of glass. The lady carer hears his screams, so she rushes back up only to find the group of old people. They start screaming at her as she passes through them. Instead of her getting the hell out of the place, she decides to make a phone call, but the old man rushes before the call can be made and knocks her out with a metal bar. Low-key, she was asking for it. The place becomes eerily quiet again with the death of the two carers. The old man inspects the wedding invitation before making his way out of the retirement home ready to hunt. The rain has brought an early end to the party as the guests rush to get home. Laura says her goodbyes to her village crush. Meanwhile, Ella and Lucas stare at each other till Kim prompts him to get in the car so that they can leave. On the way home, a jealous Kim asks him if he still loves his ex, but he denies it. In the interim, the newlyweds make their way into the barn house. Malik has converted it to a love nest for them to enjoy the night. Sana worries that someday things wouldn't be as perfect as they are right now, but her husband assures her that it will be. They then proceed to consummate the marriage, but unbeknownst to them, the old man enters and begins to rummage around for something downstairs. He passes up on an axe as that's too cliché and instead loosens a heavy metal spherical decoration from an old bed frame. The retiree then proceeds to remove his shoes as well as his socks. Damn, this mofo's feet are crusty. He put the metal ball into the sock to make a mean weapon. He stands over them while Malik puts in the work, but by the time Sana notices him, it's too late. The old man hits Malik with his makeshift weapon and continues to thrash his head while the new bride screams in terror. Guess things went left for them sooner than expected. She tries to run away after the old guy slobbers all over her, but this pensioner was an MLB pitcher, so he launches his weapon right at her head. This causes her to fall down the stairs. He rearranges her jaw before dragging her back up. The incident is not heard from the main house due to the rain. Ella wakes up from her sleep when she hears some bellowing. She gets up to investigate and finds that Laura is up too. She informs her mum of old people outside the house, but when she checks, no one is there. They enter a room to find Yak repeatedly playing one note on the piano. He begins to strike it faster as they get closer. All the while, Lucas and Kim arrive home, where she notices one of the residences from the retirement home watching them. Their attention is taken away when they hear explosions and screams coming from the village. They look to see the place in flames. The couple try to leave, but the road is blocked by cars. They find dead bodies, so Lucas tries to call the emergency services, but the line is busy. The couple get noticed by an old man wielding an axe. They quickly flee in their car as he chases them. Back at the home, the mother and daughter heard loud bangs as someone tries to enter. Laura pleads for her mum not to open, but she does. They notice an old man who gives Ella a passage from scripture that states one should honor the old. Laura sees an old woman in a wedding dress and alerts her mum. She scurries off when they shine a light on her. Ella immediately asks Laura to go inside with Noah and lock the doors and windows. She rushes to the barn to check on the newlyweds. Her worst fears are confirmed as the couple lie dead with her sister undressed. The old man even put those musty socks in her mouth. As she mourns her sister, Ella notices the old woman in the dress sitting there holding a knife. She turns around to find the gaffer standing over her. She tries to escape, but Ella is surrounded, so she darts out the window. Ella fanatically runs back to the house as Lucas and Kim also pull up. They knock for Laura to let them in. Laura explains that she lost sight of her brother when she was barricading the house from the old people invasion. They all search around the house calling his name, but there is no sign of him. Ella gets a hold of a gun before making her way outside to confront the pensioners. Lucas follows her, ignoring Kim's protest. Ella confronts Akie on Noah's whereabouts. Laura goes to investigate when they hear a sound inside. As Kim hangs back, the old man sneaks up behind her and signals others to enter. The carer discloses that she has never harmed the old folks, so they should get Laura instead. Her parents hear her screams and quickly rush back into the house, where they find Kim praying to God for forgiveness. Kim admits she fed the girl to the old people because that's not her daughter. Ella and Lucas bust through the kitchen door and subdue the old man together. They tie him up with duct tape and question him, but all he hints towards is the way the old are being treated. There is a sigh of relief when Noah appears. The kid explains that it was his grandpa who hid him from the old people. He has an asthmatic attack, so they give him an inhaler to stabilize his condition. The group hide in one of the rooms and barricade themselves in to get some rest. Kim follows Ella when she goes to the bathroom, where she reveals that Lucas still calls for her and the child in his sleep. But Ella assures her that she's not interested in stealing him from her. The mother of two comes out of the bathroom to find Kim standing at the front door with it open. She rushes to close it, but Kim uses her torch to knock her unconscious. The jealous woman then drags her out for the old folks to get her. Shortly after, Ella regains consciousness and frantically knocks on the door as the pensioners descend on her. Lucas takes the key from Kim and quickly opens the door, but they are already on Ella and are now stabbing Lucas's leg repeatedly. Laura uses a fire extinguisher to try and hold them off, but it's not working. While the family fight to save their mother, Kim makes her way upstairs and throws herself off the building to distract the old people. This catches the attention of the old mob for a moment. As they kill her, Ella runs back into the house and embraces her kids. Suspiciously, she doesn't have a scratch on her. Lucas tries to close the door, but they overpower him. The family lock themselves in the library, but Lucas bleeds to death from the stab wounds. Meanwhile, the old bride frees the old man. Back in the library, the pension mob decide to smoke them out by burning the room door. Laura suggests they use the underground tunnel. They find it and enter just as the old people come into the room. However, the mob follows them through the narrow passages. They reach a point where they must crawl. Ella is not fast enough, so the retired people get hold and end her. This gives the kids the chance to make it to the barn, where they seal the door with a heavy draw. Laura quickly calls Alex to alert him that they are still alive. He promised to come pick them up with his boat, but they must be quick. Noah struggles to get up, but the siblings support each other to the door. When they open it, their grandpa is waiting for them. Laura raises her gun to shoot him, but the old man is around too, so he punches her square in the face and prepares to cut her, but she starts to sing their family song. This moves their grandpa, who shoots the old man in the head. He breaks free from the curse through the love of his grandkids. He hugs them, revealing he could never hurt them. They all escape to the beach and board Alex's boat. As they speed off, the rest of the old people watch on from the shore, probably wishing they could get their hands on them.